and I dig it. So today is supposed to be a post day. I've got 6 projects they're doing the next 2 weeks. But I need a little creativity. We unloaded the truck yesterday from our 2 big chutes with Cameron, and I looked at my setup, and there are some things that are driving me crazy. So I wanted to walk you through how I'm modifying some of my power bricks, power controllers, and how we're kind of putting them all together so when we're on set, it's not a cable-ostrophe or cable-ostrophe. That's a great word. And it's a beautiful fall day. Cam was going to come over, but he's a little busy cutting, and I'm going to try and show. I'm hoping that I've gone through it once, that in 10 minutes I can fully reconfigure how the Aperture LS 1/2s and the Aperture 528s, that you can pretty much consolidate the brick and the power unit all into one, so where you're now just putting one thing away at the end of the day instead of 4 things, and there's just one less thing to ruin. So basically this project right here that you see is going to be a Quasar Kino fixture that you're going to be able to buy. It's going to have this piece right here, which is proprietary, the way we give you product to put on the back of your Quasars or your Kinos or any kind of LED tubes, and then you're able to configure it any way you want. It's going to have a built-in dimmer switch. It'll have a 10-foot cable with its own cord wrap, and we're testing out different mounts so you can swivel it vertical and horizontal. It'll also come with barn doors and some frost diffusion for the front. So I don't know, these mods. Okay, here we go. Are you ready for this? So for this build you will need an LS 1/2, an LS like a full Lightstorm. Those are the 2 most common that these will work the easiest with. You can follow along and maybe see how to apply it to some of their smaller LEDs like their 528 series, to kind of consolidating the power brick, and hopefully this helps. Okay, so over there I have one already built, and I started working on the wonderful but frustrating world. Oh wait, this is for another one. Okay, so what do we got? We have got our Lightstorm. This is the controller, okay, and which connects to the head. The head feeder is made out of a pretty durable proprietary LEMO connection. You get your 2 things on top. This is super useful if you're doing stuff overhead or long distances. Makes it really nice adjusting it. But here's the problem. Okay, you got this, right? Now if you've got a ton of V-mounts, you can use your V-mount. Now what we've noticed is anything under a 95 watt, so even a 135 watt on this guy, it's not even going to last you an hour, and it's just going to suck it dry. So I would suggest a 195 power brick for this, and you'll probably get 3 hours at 75%. Okay, so what do we have here? We got your power brick. I always write on mine, so this says LS 1/2. And I like to hot or super glue this guy into here because I always lose it. So, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so this is the problem because it dangles a good distance, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we are going to apply this onto here. We're going to shorten this length, so just the right amount for it to come around here, plug into the XLR adapter. Hopefully you guys can see that, plug into the XLR adapter. And so the only thing running from your control box is your cable. Now, one thing that I thought about, and I have ordered a few of them, is this connection into here is almost never long enough, and you have to run a stinger out to it. That's fine, but over the course of the year, I have been converting these pigtails and putting a new trick, and I'll show a picture of it. It's a new trick, and it's a very high voltage, high wattage, high amperage connector, and they're easy to unhook and connect. And so you put one on one side and a male on the other side, and they're interchangeable. So if you have them on your other piece of equipment, you can just connect them, or if you need another stinger, need to repatch, you just unconnect them. So, and then that would stay in there. So first things first, we got to undo this guy, and this is a little scary because you do need a drill. I am using a, what is it? A 13/64. 13/64. You don't need a ton. You just need a break. You'll kind of feel it when you don't need to go anymore. And this no way damages your LS 1/2. Okay, I guarantee to you. Okay. I'm a licensed professional. Now, the one thing I didn't try is I do believe you have to loosen these 3 screws on the V-mount. Get a different view. Okay. Normally I don't do these projects on the studio floor, but you know what? I just said screw it. Said, you know what? Nobody's judging me. And so if it doesn't come up right away, you can see it's starting to. You just need to just drill a little bit more. And all you're doing is you're just getting rid of the rivets that hold this on. Am I recording? Okay, I'm recording, cool. This one just needs a little bit more love. Okay. Nice and cozy, you got some solid steel right here. This is where your power's going into, okay? And of course this is a bypass. Okay, now I like to save things like this. Some people don't. If you don't, then tuck it in right there and put a piece of gaff in it. For me, I am going to reuse that. So I'm going to pull it out as far as I can, tape it over. And the reason I do this is there could be capacitors in there that are waiting to kill me. So tape that. Like that, okay, and then just tuck that in there, and we're safe and sound. Okay. Now, you get 2 benefits from this. I don't know if you've ever needed a really nice V-mount to power something, an accessory, but now I have 2, and I'm going to use these to power my sound cart. They come with like 10 gauge, high quality, UL rated. I mean, they were put together well, so you could use those for something else. Okay, so easy part is done. Then we're going to locate our new mount, and we're going to put it right about here. Okay, so let's get some Velcro, and we are going to use. We are going to use 2-inch 10-pound Velcro. You get it at the hardware store from between $12 or $10 and $15. Sometimes cheaper if you buy them in the smaller pack. And if you're only doing one, just get the smaller pack. Okay. So we cut the length of it. Okay, and then in order to tuck this wire in nice and well, it doesn't matter on this one, but we're gonna go like this. Hopefully everyone's following along, because I've been talking to myself for well over 5 minutes now. Okay, so we get this nice and sturdy in here. Okay, now here's the trick. You take your soft-sided your soft-sided stuff, which is going to go right here. And what I like to do is I like to make, places for the cables to go. So what I do is I offset this on my thing. So I'm sticking it right on top of it. I'm going to offset it about like that. And you probably won't understand why until I show you, but that's how I manage my cables right there. So I'll make another cut. Don't mind the kids screaming in the background. They're being watched by responsible adults, I think. I'm pretty sure. What can I say? So you take off this one, and again, these are 2-inch strips, okay? And you want to cover this almost all the way. So what I do, so it can still stay straight, is I leave, about that much of a gap. So this is still sticky right here. And you're like, what? Why would you do that, you idiot? And here's why. I take a piece of tape and I go over it, and I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to fold over a tab here, and I don't need this much, so I'll cut it right there. And then I'll fold over a tab right here. Okay. And I'll lift that up. I'll go right there. So now that's solid. Okay, now I take I tuck it in there like that, and then I fold that over. Boom. So now this is nice and tucked in. Okay. Now, from my previous test, I know these are important, more for, I would say, data than just for power. They are a regulator, but for the most part, I was willing to sacrifice it, so I got rid of it. And then this is what you need at the bottom. Where is my XLR fitting? I need that for this final. We're going to need to find the XLR. So, in the meantime, we need to figure out, okay, on this end, because we don't need any of this stuff. This is all just, we need to know with this how much is an appropriate amount of bend, okay? So I would say right about there. So I'm comfortable with that. I'll take these out, snip these. Now these wires are interesting. They are, I don't know the technical term for them when they have a core on the inside that's being protected with a core on the outside, and they're overlaid. I think Apple maybe does this, but you want to be careful because you don't want to hurt the outer layer because there's nothing protecting it. Okay? You'll see what I mean? So as I strip this off, it is immediately copper wire. And that is a hot lead right there. Okay. Okay, then we have this guy that is our other lead, and we will just strip it back like so. Okay, so now here is where the whole schmiggerol comes to. So if you don't know how to use a soldering iron or you're horrible at it, I am happy. You can bring it over to my house. I'm happy to do it because it's so easy. So here's how we're gonna do it. So you can see the simplicity at this point. It's all together. You got your head feeder and your light, your power brick, which is basically taking 120, turning it into 12 volt. And then also giving you the option to dim it. So I will do it this way so you guys can see this soldering magic. Okay, and from what we can see, we're just going to match. Okay, we are going to match. Get that a little higher, make it a little easier on us. And we're going to take these off. Ow, that is a one mother freaking son of a gun. Whew. Definitely burned myself on that one. Okay. Why can't I get be a little bit more like Mr. Rogers and, you know, have some dignity. Mr. Rogers never had to do that shiz. Okay, here we go. So we want to pull them out. We want to pull them out in a way that we leave the solder behind in the little bulbs. Soldering irons are weird. Hotter the better. Okay, that one comes off fairly easy. And we do number 2. And number 2 comes out. Okay, so according to this, white goes on the right hand terminal. Now, one thing that this always happens, people are like, why did I do this? Is you have to prep your line when you're doing cables. Okay? So you have your boot, you have your compression fitting, and your XLR. Your XLR doesn't really matter. It goes on last. Okay? So we are going to do this one next. Most of the time, you're going to have to introduce a little bit more lead to get a good one. Okay. So usually this takes 3 hands. We are going to do it. Okay. Drum roll, please. There we go. She's in. Nope, it failed to go in. So you want this nice and sharp. So we'll enter into. It's all jankied around, so I don't have the right angle. What we want to do is just catch on what's already there, and then we'll supplement the solder later. So there we are. I've got it in. So then I'm going to pull away, let it cool down. You can feel it's still pretty tight there. Then we'll get about a 2-inch piece ready. Just kind of, and boom. There we go. Okay, so next we're going to get this all nice. It's a little bit over, so we want to trim it back. The best practice is that they are similar lengths. And I think it's time for some new grips or new side cutters. Okay. So again, this one's got hardly any solder in it, so we're gonna add a little solder. And put the heat on the terminal first. Kind of strike it. You'll see it hit, boom, there we go. Okay, we filled it up. And now I can do the same thing and let it soak in. Yep, there. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then we're going to go do our supplemental, and we're going to start up high and let it run over the top of it. Now the other thing is if all the metals are not quite the same height or temperature, they will start to kind of they'll bubble up and they won't really conform. But those look like really, really nice solders. So we are done with that one. Okay, the middle one, number 3 prong, it's a neutral prong. It does not have anything going on with it. Okay, so then we take our XLR. Where'd she go? Right here. There's going to be a notch on the bottom of our XLR. Slide that in. Sometimes it's kind of still hot. Okay. Inspect it on this side that it's flush, everything's good. You're going to push your compression fitting in there. And then your boot is going to twist on. Okay. And then that, my friend, is it. Okay, so we have our controller, we have our power brick or converter, which all of these will always have. We're no longer able to run off D-tap power. However, it's not a big deal to take a V-mount like this, okay? And we kept these. If you were paying attention, I kept these. All you'd have to do is take your 3-pin XLR and basically put this on the back of something and connect this like so, just like we did. And so if you wanted to run off V-mount, you just connect it to V-mount and then run that XLR cable you just made into the back of this, and it would do the exact same thing. So, proof's in the pudding. Let's check this baby out. So, okay. Again, try it out. And let's give it some power. Boom. So I just must have mixed up the quick things. Full dimming. I don't know if you can kind of see, but this is the dimmer, and you get a full dimming. So I hope that this has been helpful, because for me, having this all together, being able to put this at the bottom of the light stand. The other thing I am going to do is right here, we're going to we're going to cut it right here, and we're going to put a really nice, what we call Nutric connector on all my stingers, and all my equipment is going to have a Nutric, that way we can just have a universal stinger system, and then we can leave this with just a pigtail, and we don't have to worry about cabling. We'll just be able to grab these two pieces of equipment. Probably we'll keep our Limo connection with that, and then we'll have a separate head box. But yeah, this is pretty much it. The new LS 1/2 controller modification. Yeah, so you got your head feeder, your light, and that's all you need. The two benefits you do get from this situation is you get 2 free V-mount adapter plates. So I have a sound cart and another couple of other projects that I would love to be able to just power off V-mount and be able to just hook these up to the side of it and run that into power, and yeah, and then Jill just use the V-mount and just lock it in. I got power. So anyways, I hope that helped. Like I said, I'm always trying to figure out a way to get quality, meaning high CRI, accessibility, so it's easy for everyone to find it, and then also longevity, like it'll last long, you can beat it up. And I'm just going to leave you with a little project I'm working on right now. This project is a 500 watt equivalent 100 watt panel, and it produces 10,000 lumens, and basically what it will do is it'll be more for your bounce stuff. So if you want a 12 or not, you want a 6 or an 8 by as a soft source, this will have enough punch that you'll be able to put it real nice tucked underneath it and bounce it up onto that 12 or 6 by and get that really nice soft look. So anyways, this is the next project I will show you guys when this is done. It's going to pull about 100 watts. It's non-dimmable. This is, you know, first iteration, so I wish it was dimmable, but because of the board I was able to get with it, it's just not dimmable. So anyways, hope that helped. I'll upload this on YouTube. You know, hit the like button, all you mathematicians and union people. I understand I'm doing this wrong, but just know that I'm making it so everybody and their dog in any country can make a light setup. So anyways, if you have comments, questions, leave them below. I will try and leave a step-by-step like document so you could do it, and then maybe I'll do one more. I'm going to get a couple more full LS light storms, and I'm going to do the same conversion to them. In fact, Cameron has some. I'm going to see if he'll let me do some for him, and we'll kind of make it more of a proper tutorial and see if you guys can get it. So anyways, just try and make your life easy. Peace out. So with a little knowledge about soldering and electricity, I really think you can improve the whole ballast controller situation on the LS Aperture Lightning series. We use these a lot, but every time we pull them out, we get really frustrated with the amount of cables, ballast, and controllers that we have to use. And then the same thing as wrap, if we have to figure out, okay, which goes where, and the worst thing is you get to set and you're like, oh, that particular cable is on another truck because of a million other reasons. So what I've done is basically everything that needs to be is right there. I do suggest taking the pigtails from the, personally I like to use stingers. I like to use stingers almost exclusively. I like to run them right up to my lights. I don't like to have my lights strung across. So what I like to do is on my power bricks, I like to cut down to about a 6-inch pigtail and then put a high quality connector onto it, whether it be Nutric or a Hubble or whatever, and then I just plug my stinger right into that. So people might have the comments, but that's usually how I do it. But I'm going to show you how I have it set up right now, and you can kind of see how simple this is. So basically you got your head feeder, so you got your head, and then you got your head feeder that comes down to your control box. In the past, you've had another cable that leads to your power brick, and then you got to have that on the floor, it gets kicked around. So what we basically did is we shortened this cable on our power brick to fit into here. We took off the V plate, the V mount plate, and then we velcroed everything together into one nice little package. So you can turn it on. You can still use your all your little things that you normally do, and that's it. Anyways, I hope that it's fall. I hope that this quick tutorial was helpful. I have some OCD tendencies, and so sometimes I stay up at night trying to figure out how to make things that are fairly good and have no issues even better. So if this helped you, give me a thumbs up. If it didn't, put 2 thumbs down if you can, and subscribe, because my channel is just a channel of mystery. Sometimes I'll post stuff about the most random shiz. It's usually family friendly though. Okay, see ya.